All right, so today I've got another fragrance here from F.A. Paris Fragrance World, and this is going to be a clone of BDK's Tabac Rose, and this is going to be Paradox Tribute. All right, so as you can see, man, this definitely comes in like this really large box. Basically, what you have here is like a plastic sleeve. It's got the F.A. Paris Fragrance World logo up top, the name of the fragrance down here at the bottom, and then you've got like the ingredients and barcode information on the back. All right, and then basically this box that the fragrance sits in is kind of like this suede velvet sort of texture on the outside of the box. Feels really nice. And then you've got the name of the fragrance here, Paradox Tribute, the F.A. Paris Fragrance World logo, and then you've got like the bottle size and concentration, which is eau de parfum. All right. Nothing on the back of the box, nothing on the sides, nothing on the top or the bottom. So that's pretty much what you get here with the box. And then once you open it up, fragrance sits in there like that, coffin style. And then you've got like the, I guess the P for the Paradox logo up here at the top. All right. So once you take the bottle out, the bottle definitely, it feels heavy. And then the cap here, I would say it kind of looks almost like a chess piece, sort of like. You've got the name Paradox Tribute here on the front, and then you've got the F.A. Paris, Fragrance World logo down here at the bottom. My only real gripe, I would say, with this fragrance is the atomizer or the sprayer on this one is not really my favorite. It's like a really sort of short puff that it lets out in terms of the juice. But I mean, overall, that still doesn't really detract from this fragrance performing, because the juice in this fragrance is definitely a strong juice for sure. All right. So just to get straight into the smell, man, I do have both fragrances sprayed on. I've got Paradox Tribute sprayed over here, and then I've got the BDK Tabac Rose on this one. All right. So when you first initially spray these on, and just to kind of go over the notes, when you first spray it on, in the top notes, you're going to get plum, pink pepper, and Italian lemon. In the mid, you're going to get tobacco or Turkish rose, chocolate, and cinnamon. And then in the base notes, you're going to get tobacco, Indonesian patchouli leaf, and Spanish labdanum. I would say the main notes that I pick up on when I, smell both of these fragrances are definitely going to be plum, pink pepper, and the Turkish rose. I really don't pick up on too much lemon. That could definitely be back there in the background, but I would say that's definitely going to be more of, I guess, sort of like a supporting note that's, way back there, kind of just doing its own thing. But yeah, I would say when you first spray these on, you're going to get a blast of some plum. You're definitely going to get some freshness from the pink pepper. And then also you're going to get, I would say the main thing that you're going to get is the Turkish rose. All right. So when I first, was made aware of this fragrance, someone actually told me to review this. They like put a comment on one of my videos asking me to review this particular fragrance. So when I looked up the notes definitely, they look pretty intriguing to me. I was definitely expecting this to smell a lot different than what it actually does, just based on the notes. But I would say either way, this is definitely a fragrance that, as I smell it more and more, it is starting to grow on me for sure. When I first initially sprayed this on, I was kind of like, I don't really know how I feel about this one. But definitely as I've, sort of worn this more and more and sprayed it, it is starting to grow on me. I would say that this is definitely going to be a more sort of mature type of fragrance. So I would say definitely for, like 35 and up probably, or 30 and up at the very least. But this does have like a sort of class and elegance to it that I think, you don't necessarily get from, fragrances every day. So this is, I want to say this is the third BDK, scent profile that I've actually experienced. So obviously with the two Francique fragrances, those were the other two that I've experienced, which is the Gris Charnel both the EDP and the extrait, as well as root smoking. So this fragrance is also a very good one as well. Now, I would say when comparing the two, the Paradox Tribute and the Tabac Rose, in the initial opening spray, Tabac Rose, to my nose, does smell a little bit more richer than what the Paradox Tribute does. It smells richer in terms of the quality seems to be slightly higher. And I would also say that in terms of just like the overall strength, the Tabac Rose seems to be a little bit stronger than what the Paradox Tribute is. But don't let that, don't take that to mean that this is a weak fragrance, because it absolutely isn't. You're still going to get really good projection from both of these, whether it's the FA Paris Fragrance World version or if it's the BDK. I'm just saying that the BDK version, it does project a little bit harder, I would say, than what the Paradox Tribute does. Now, also, this fragrance, I just opened this fragrance a few days ago, and have only worn it, a few times or so. So it may kind of maturate over time or whatever. Looking at the production date on this bottle, it isn't like this is a brand new bottle. This bottle was produced in March of last year, so March of 2023. So this is definitely, it's had some time to kind of sit around. So this may be at this point maturated, I don't know. But I know definitely the thing that I've noticed with a lot of FA Paris Fragrance World fragrances is after you spray them, the first initial time, normally after about a month or two, they do sort of start to change and get, stronger, and certain notes start to come out in the fragrances more and more. But again, initially in the opening spray, the Tabac Rose, it is going to be a little bit more richer. Now, this is a difference that I feel like you're only going to be able to tell, once you've actually gotten like up close to the fragrance. This is not going to be a difference that you're going to be able to tell in the air, in my opinion. These are extremely close. I would say if I'm going to rate the closeness of these fragrances just overall, I would say that overall they're about 95% within each other. Now, I would say once you get into like the dry down, they're indistinguishable. Like I said, you do kind of get a slight sort of richness difference, especially in the opening. I feel like that difference starts to fade as the two dry down. The main difference, though, that I would say that you kind of get throughout the entire life of the fragrance is the Tabac Rose just seems to be a couple percent, I would say more stronger than what the FA Paris Fragrance World fragrance is. I'm extremely happy with, how close this is to the original fragrance. Now, in the dry down, I feel like you do start to get like the cinnamon note. That is what I would say is most prominent to me. The cinnamon, the patchouli, and I would say you get a little bit of that chocolate note. I would say that, at least to my nose, I don't get any tobacco from this at all, or at least not the sort of tobacco that I'm used to smelling in fragrances. And I mean, I have, a lot of different types of tobacco fragrances, whether it be, designer fragrances like the One EDP. I have the clone of 1 Million Privé, which is almost identical to that one. So I have that. I have, the Tabac from Maison Alhambra, 1981X. So, I mean, I have a bunch of different types of tobacco fragrances, and I know tobacco can definitely be done in different types of ways. I feel like in this fragrance, though, the tobacco, even though that's like the main part of the name, or at least half of the name anyway, you really don't get much tobacco at all from this fragrance. At least not from what I'm picking up on. I'm picking up on, I would say, probably about 75% rose, pretty much, from this fragrance. And I'm really not a rose fan, but I would say that the way this fragrance is done, this is a pretty good rose scent, in my opinion. I would also say that if I'm going to compare this with another fragrance, I would also say that this sort of reminds me of Swiss Arabian Shagaf Oud Azrak. I would say that it reminds me of that fragrance. They're definitely totally different, but it reminds me of the fragrance, especially in the dry down. I would say the main differences between this and Shagaf Oud Azrak are obviously this one doesn't have oud in the fragrance, and it doesn't have the sweetness from the honey that Shagaf Oud Azrak has. But it does have like that really sort of spicy cinnamon aspect to the fragrance, and it smells very similar, in my opinion, to Shagaf Oud Azrak in that aspect. So it's kind of like if you replaced the oud and the honey with, rose and I would say plum. That's pretty much what you get with this particular fragrance. So I would say if you are somebody that likes Shagaf Oud Azrak by Swiss Arabian, you may want to try this, especially if you're maybe looking for something that's a little bit less sweet, because this definitely doesn't have the type of sweetness that fragrance has. But again, they do smell kind of similar in the dry down. All right. Now, in terms of overall performance, the longevity on this one is great. So you're going to get 12 plus hours with this fragrance. You're going to get that with the original Tabac Rose from BDK as well. Again, just in terms of projection, the projection is going to be slightly better on the BDK than what it is on the Paradox Tribute. All right. Also, it is going to give you very good projection, I would say at least for like the first 3 hours, pretty much. So, again, performance wise, this is absolutely no slouch, even though it is slightly dialed back, I would say, from the BDK. So if we were to place the BDK at a baseline of 10 in terms of strength, I would say that this is like a 9 pretty much. All right. So not much of a difference really at all. So performance wise, this is going to be really good. And then I would say in terms of, when you would want to wear this fragrance, in my opinion, this isn't really like a casual type of fragrance. This is definitely going to be more of sort of like an upscale type of fragrance that you would wear to, like more of an upscale dressed up type of event. It is a very sexy unisex fragrance though. So I would say, absolutely a man or a woman could wear this with no problem. But it is, again, going to be more of sort of like a dressed up, like suit and tie or like really nice dress sort of occasion type of fragrance. All right. So overall, if I'm going to rate this particular fragrance, as a clone to Tabac Rose, this is absolutely, I would say, going to be a 9.5 out of 10. I get the exact same experience from this fragrance that I get with Tabac Rose, and the quality is absolutely there, I would say, with this fragrance. All right. So I was able to pick this fragrance up for $39.99 from tripletraders.com. So I'll have a link in the description to purchase the fragrance from there. Definitely, I would recommend this if you're looking for like a really sexy upscale, I would say more so nighttime leaning type of fragrance. Obviously, you can wear this whenever you want, but if it were me, I would more so kind of gravitate towards this at night. All right. So let me know what you all think about Paradox Tribute. Do you all think that this is a good BDK Tabac Rose clone? Let me know if you smelled both fragrances. And definitely, again, if you are brand new to this channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.